The millionaire tax proposal that's floating around Washington right now have a lot of people on the Republican Party wondering, has Donald Trump lost his damn mind? Now I know it's a lot of people that are saying, about damn time we tax the rich. What's floating around is for people that's making over $1 million a year, they will get escalated to a higher tax bracket to about 40% of the marginal tax rate. Now that rate sounds fine and dandy, and it sounds like, oh, that's a good idea. The more money they make, they should pay more taxes. It sounds good, but the key element that people are missing is not going after the people that you really wanted to go after. If you stick with me for a minute and follow along in this video, I'm going to point out a few key aspects why this new bill that's coming out will hit certain people, but it will not go after the people that the main majority is searching for. It's not going to hit the mega millionaires and billionaires. But with all that said, welcome to the process. In the past 2 weeks or so, we done had Warren Buffett, which has historically over the years said the rich need to pay more in taxes. But we've had more people add on to that. We had the Jamie Dimon. So we have other, ultra wealthy people add on to that. Hell, I'd have had conversations with people that's worth 8 and 9 figures, and they stated the same thing, that yes, we as the top 1% need to pay more in taxes. Now, let's not get it confused. I don't sit here and say that I know more than Warren Buffett. I know more than Jamie Dimon. I know more than a lot of these people that's, in that ultra wealth spectrum. But I'm thinking they are a little out of touch with reality of how the system works. Yes, they want to be taxed more. The question is, how is it feasible where it doesn't affect everybody else below them? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. The reason why I'm saying that is even with this new bill that's trying to circulate through Washington right now, they're talking about, yeah, we're going to attack the rich. Anybody's making over $1 million. But you're not going to get the Bezoses, the Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musk, the Warren Buffetts. You're not going to get the Larry Ellisons of the world. The people that this will target is the people that you're really not trying to target. I'm not saying you as in the people, but when they throw out these narrative that the rich need to pay more taxes, they're not talking about the C-suite CEO. They're not talking about athletes. They're not talking about actors. They're not talking about doctors, lawyers, because that's what this new law is really going to target. I know the next question is, wait, how you going to say that? Warren Buffett and Bezos, they're worth, keyword, they're worth billions of dollars. They are worth that much money. But they don't make that money on a yearly basis. Just look it up. Warren Buffett receives $100,000 a year from Berkshire Hathaway. The rest of Warren Buffett's money is tied up in Berkshire Hathaway stock, which can increase and decrease in price over time. So even though he's worth billions, his paycheck is only $100,000. So he won't even fall into the millionaire's tax that is being presented. Let's look at Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is worth almost $200 billion. His salary from Facebook is $1. He doesn't fall in the millionaire income tax guideline. It's the same method and model for all of them. So the question is the people that everybody's yelling about, they're too rich, they need to pay more of their fair share, are they really the ones being affected, or are these people that's being brought into the system to pay more of their quote unquote fair share? Let's look at a quick demographic here. So if the goal is to go after the ultra wealthy, well, how are they not making millions of dollars a year if they're worth billions of dollars? The simple answer to that is because they buy assets that increase and decrease in value. They don't have that money in hand on a yearly basis. Now, Tesla stock can go up and Elon Musk can make 20, 30, 40, 50 billion dollars in a year, as far as on paper net worth wise. But he don't have 20, 40, or 50 billion dollars in cash sitting in the bank. Those numbers get convoluted and twisted, especially in the media. Worth and make are two different things. People that are worth a certain amount of money, they don't make that money in a year. That is accumulation of what they did over their lifetime. That's what they worth. They make a small percentage of that compared to the wealth that they have. So again, going back to the Warren Buffett situation, he makes in cash, paycheck, W-2 active income, $100,000 a year. It's been that way for decades. But he owns assets that has increased in values by the billions and hundreds of billions. That's not money that he has on him. So The next ideal or concept people will come up with is, why don't they tax the assets, or why don't they tax his net worth? So if his assets go up in value, they tax it. What do they do right now? The stock market is down. Tesla stock is down about 40% from the all-time high. Facebook stock is around down 20%. Do the government give that money back on the down years? If they do that, then what's the threshold? Is it we will tax only the people that have assets that's over $1 million, over $1 billion, over 200 billion? That's the question, the dilemma that's still out there. But the key is when they lose, what do they do? Now the question is, and I know this is a question that always sticks out like a sore thumb, how are these CEOs affording to move, shake, move to Washington, go to Tesla, go to SpaceX, go to the Boring Company, and all the in-betweens? They do one or two things. One, they live through their companies or the assets they have. So I guarantee you, every private plane ride that Elon Musk takes, it's a charge to the company. I don't know which company. It could be Tesla, it could be SpaceX, it could be the Boring Company, it could be XAI, it could be even Twitter, formerly known as Twitter X. It could be all of those. But that's not an expense coming out of his pocket. And then him being an asset as Elon Musk, it's a write-off for the company. The second way they get around it is like we talked about Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg brings in, paycheck-wise, $1 a year. Could be a little bit more now. I know during COVID it was $1. It still don't meet the millionaire tax threshold. What he does is he borrows money against the assets that he have. Just like you and I know, when you go get that home loan, when you go get that car loan, when you go get a loan from the bank, you don't pay taxes on money you borrow. So what they do, all the big wigs out there, all the people that have assets, instead of like the regular people do, oh, my stock went up, I'll just sell the stock and then I'll pay the tax obligation for that. They don't do that. What they do is the asset goes up. Let's use Zuckerberg in his case. Let's say it's up and the value of the asset is worth 100 billion or 200 billion. Okay, I'll just borrow $1 billion against the asset that I have. So once I borrow the $1 billion, I don't have to pay taxes on borrowed money. And also, I get to write off the interest that I pay on the interest expense for that borrowed money. So I'm not making nothing, and I'm getting a tax write-off for the interest I'm paying on not making nothing from the asset itself that I borrowed. So they're not doing trickery or wizardry. They're just following the tax code that's out there. And this tax code, it might seem complex, and you think you need hundreds of billions of dollars to do it, but that's really not the case. So everybody that's getting, emotionally charged and thinking, oh yeah, we finally caught him. We finally got him. Trump's pulling out this wild card of the millionaire tax. The only people that's going to be affected by that is the people that the left really wasn't going after. That's who it is. Again, the athletes, actors, C-suite CEOs. When I'm saying C-suite CEOs, what I'm saying is smaller company CEOs that's, making $1 million, $2 million. We're not talking about CEOs and operators, i.e. like Musk, like Zuckerberg, the billionaires like Larry Ellison. I'm talking about the smaller businesses that the CEO probably cracked over that $1 million threshold, and then now they're going to be taxed at 40%. The Jamie Dinans of the world that will be taxed a little bit more because he is the CEO of JP Morgan, but he's not the majority owner of JP Morgan, so he don't have the offsets that the other people that I mentioned before have. But those are the people that's going to get hit. It's not the billionaires. It's not the 1%ers that's going to be affected by this. It's not the Bezos that's going to be affected by this. Only thing they're doing is following the tax code. And just like Trump said during his first election when everybody wanted to get in an uproar, and he said that when they was talking about he didn't pay taxes. And he said, yeah, I don't pay taxes, but I'm following the law that the other side created. Really, both sides created, but that's all it is. If you follow the law and understand the law and go through the process of the law, you will find cutouts, carve-outs that even you, somebody that's probably making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, hell, even $150,000 a year, if you buy assets, you can use those same cutouts to benefit you. So they're not doing nothing special. This millionaire tax is not nothing special. This is just another way to have the normal everyday person argue back and forth and get busy with stuff that don't matter. So with all that being said, I hope what I just presented to you was very informational. It gave you another insight, another thinking process. I'm just giving you the information that is true in real life fashion. But with all that being said, thanks for watching the process. See you in the next video. Y'all have a good one.